Now, I want to create a procedures with parameters. So parameters are two types, input and output. Now let's create a procedures with what? Input parameters. First we'll see input parameters. Next we'll see output parameters. Okay, now then next. Now let's see this here. Then so I want to create a procedure to increment a specific employee's salary by specific amount. So create a procedure to increment specific employee's salary by specific amount. Hello. Yeah. Hello. 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 Yeah. Okay. So then now I'm creating a procedure with input parameters. Yesterday we created a procedure without parameters. Now I'm creating a procedures with input parameters. Same procedure. Yesterday procedure was incrementing all, but this one is incrementing specific employee's salary. So then, so procedure name USP. So I'm passing two. One is employee number plus one is amount. What are these two are called parameters, and these two parameters are called input parameters. So these two parameters are input parameters. Next one, increment salary. I'm creating this project to increment the salary. Now increment salary. How to increment? Update EMP set salary equal to salary plus amount, where employee number equals to @NBO. So what this procedure is doing? This procedure is incrementing specific employee salary by specific amount. Okay, this is incrementing specific employee salary by specific amount. So what is this? What is this @NO, @amount? These two are called parameters. We pass values to these parameters at the time of execution. Now you are creating the procedure. Next, you execute the procedure. At the time of execution, you pass value to these parameters. Okay. So the value passed to @NY is 7844. Value passed to @amount is 1000. 7844 salary is incremented by 1000. And the value passed to @NY is 7566. Value passed to @amount is 1000. 7566 salary is incremented by 1000. So which employee's salary is incremented and how much it is incremented depends on the values passed to these parameters. Now let's create the procedure. Let's create the procedure. So I'm creating the procedure. Create the procedure. Okay, then procedure. Create the procedure. Actually, this is already there. Yesterday we created. Yesterday we created a procedure with name USP raise salary. Today also you are creating the procedure with same name. Then it gives what? Actually, it gives what? Error. Because you cannot create two procedures with same name. This procedure is already there in database. You are creating another procedure with same name. It gives error actually. But now it will not give the error. Why? Because you said create or alter. You said create or alter. Suppose if only create is there, that means you are creating the procedure. So let me run this. Then what it is saying? There is already an object named what? USP raise salary in the database. In database, it is already there. You're trying to create another procedure with same name. So it's giving error. Now let's say create what? Create or alter. Create or alter. If we say create or alter, what is the meaning? If procedure is not there, it is created. If procedure is already there, it is altered. If it is not there, it is created. If already there, it is what? Altered. That means what? Now it is already there. Now this procedure is what? Altered. Yesterday procedure is altered. That means some parameters are added. Okay, then. Now let me create this. Now procedure is what? Created. Now in database, how many procedures are there? In database, how many are there? One. So yesterday was there or not there? Not there. Yesterday was replaced with what? Today's procedure. Okay, then. So procedure is created. Now This procedure is created. After creating the procedure, now what is next one is what? Execution. In this topic, you have to learn two. What is that is how to create, how to execute. Okay, how to create the procedure, how to execute the procedure. Now this is creating the procedure. What the next one is? Execute. Execute the procedure. Okay. Then how to execute the procedure? Yesterday we executed. How to execute the procedure? Execute procedure name. Now here also execute the procedure name. What? Execute procedure name. What is the procedure name? ESP underscore raise underscore salary. Execute ESP underscore raise underscore salary. You're executing the procedure. Then what this gives? If you execute the procedure like this gives what? Error. Why? Why? Because see, this procedure is expecting what? This procedure is created with two parameters. This procedure is created with what? Two parameters. And these two parameters are what? Input parameters. Input parameters always receive the value. So that means they're expecting the value. So this parameter is expecting employee number. This parameter is expecting what? Amount. So then, like suppose you are executing the procedure like this, but if you execute the procedure like this, what this procedure gives? This gives what's an error. Procedure or function expects what? Parameters at the rate what's her ENO, which was not supplied. Understood? Then so it is expecting the values, but you are not passing the values. That's why this command gives what? Error. Now do one thing. So pass the values. How to pass the values? 7844 comma what? 1000. I'm passing the value. So 7844 is passed to what? 7844 is passed to at the rate ENO. 1000 is passed to at the rate amount. 7844 is passed to at the rate ENO. 1000 is passed to at the rate what? Amount. Then procedure is executed or not? Yes. Now 7844 salary is incremented by what? 1000. 7844 salary is incremented by 1000. Understood? Now let's see. Before that, see the table. Select star from EMP. See the table. What is the 7844 salary? 7844 salary is what? 3070, 3070. Yes. Now let me run this project. I'm executing the procedure. One row affected. Now let's see. Just go and see the table. 7844 4070. Salary is incremented by how much? 1000. Understood now? Then that's all. You must execute like this. If you execute like this, then it gives error. You have to execute like this. Okay, now. Next. So this 7844 is passed to what? At the rate ENO. First value is passed to first parameter. Second value is passed to second parameter. So 7844 salary is incremented by 1000. Okay, na? Then next, so you can also execute like this. You can also execute like this. Execute what? ESP raise salary at the rate what? ENO. At the rate ENO equal to 7844 at the rate amount equals to 1000. Okay, na? Then. So you can call like this, you can execute like this, or you can also execute like this. Okay, then. Now, you're explicitly mentioning the value 7844 is for this parameter, value 1000 is for this parameter. Like what this is? This is what? Positional notation. What is this is called? This is called what? Mnemonic notation. This is called positional notation. This is called what? Mnemonic notation. How the parameters are mapped here? How the parameters are mapped? Positions. First to first, second to second. How the parameters are mapped? Names. This is the name now. 7844 is passed to this parameter. 1000 is passed to this parameter. Which is convenient? First one is convenient. Second one is convenient. Second one is convenient. Why? See this. What is the advantage? Advantage is you can pass values to what? Then, sir, here compulsory you have to follow the order. You have to follow the order. What is that order? First, you have to pass value to employee number. Next, you have to pass value to amount. Compulsory you have to follow the order. But in mnemonic notation, you don't need to follow the order. You can write like this also. You can call like this. Amount equals to 1000. Amount equal to 1000. At the rate ENO equal to 7844 like this. So first you can pass value to amount. Next you can pass value to employee number. But in positional notation, compulsory you have to follow the what's order. But here no need to follow the order. So which is convenient? Which is convenient? Mnemonic notation is convenient than positional notation. Okay. Name it is convenient than positional notation. That's all. This is creating the procedure plus what? Executing the procedure. How to execute the procedure. Okay, creating the procedure plus executing the procedure. Now, let's see. Okay. Now, suppose, for example, that for example, see, this is front-end application. In front-end application, you are passing what? Employee number and what? Amount. So this is one front-end. In front-end, you are passing some employee number and amount. Then what is this is? Submit or update. Update the salary. You created a procedure. You created one procedure. Where you created the procedure? SQL Server. In SQL Server is managing what? Database. So there is a database. Inside the database, there is a WhatsApp table. So this is there in what? Like this is there in WhatsApp database. This is the database. Inside the database, what is this is? EMP table. What is this is? Procedure. This is the procedure. Okay, na? Then. So this is database. This is front end. Now front end, the input employee number 7844. Input what? Amount 1000. Okay, na? Then after this, they click what's it? They click what? Update button. They click the update button. When they click the update button, they call what's it? When they click this update button, they call what? Procedure. Procedure is called. When this procedure is called, these values are passed to what? Procedure. You created a procedure with two parameters now. So 7844 is passed to @NO, and this 1000 is passed to what? What's it? Amount. Let's say 1000. This is 1000, and this 1000 is passed to amount. So this first value is passed to @NO. This value is passed to amount. After passing the values to procedure, what procedure is doing? What procedure is doing? Procedure is what? It is going to what? EMP table. So what it is doing is it is updating the EMP table. Procedure is updating EMP table. Yes or no? Okay, na? So procedure is receiving the employee number and amount, and it is going to EMP table updating the salary. Okay. Then after updating the salary, so this front end, this user want to know the new salary. You want to know what? New salary. Here, what we are doing here to find the new salary, I'm just going to this running the query select star from EMP, and I'm checking whether the salary is incremented or not. But front end, this user cannot do like that. He cannot go to the database, run the query select star from EMP. He cannot check. Understood or not? He will not be having permissions to directly access database. Okay, na? He can access the database only through predefined applications. He cannot access databases directly. Then, so this front end user wants to know the updated salary. He wants to know the updated salary. Then, we get the updated salary. We get the updated salary. Then, now let's see how to get the updated salary. Where is the updated salary? EMP table. Then what this procedure has to do? This procedure has to get the salary from what? EMP table. Get the salary from EMP table. How to get the salary from EMP table? How procedure will get the salary from EMP table? Not output. What? Select. How procedure will get the salary from EMP table? Select. Then after getting this, then what procedure want to do? Sir, updated salary is there in EMP table. Procedure will get the salary from EMP table. After getting the salary from EMP table, procedure has to send the value to front end. Send the value to front end. To send the value to procedure want to send the value to the front end application. But to send the value to front end application, use what's it? Output parameter. Okay, na? So to send the value to the front end, procedure has to take what? Output parameter. Procedure want to receive the values coming from front end. Then what? Take what? Input parameters. And procedure want to send the value to the front end. Then take output parameters. Understood? Na? Then. So now let's take example. Let's take what? Example for output parameters. Example 3. Okay. Then procedure with what? Output parameter. First example without parameters. Second example input parameters. Third example output parameters. Okay, then now let's see what. Then create a procedure to increment specific employee's salary by specific amount. Create a procedure to increment specific employee's salary by specific amount. After increment, send the updated salary to calling program. If calling program is .NET program, send it to the .NET program. Calling program is Java program, send it to the Java program. So wherever this procedure is called, so to that program, you send the updated salary. Okay. Okay, then now now let's see this. What create or alter procedure, USP, raise salary. Next, create or alter procedure name, ESP. For all these examples, I am taking the same name. Then what procedure name. Next. So what this procedure has to do? I want to create a procedure like this. This procedure has to take employee number, take amount, update the salary. After updating, send the updated salary to calling program. So how many parameters are required? How many parameters are required? 3. One for employee number. Next one for what? Amount. One for what? Updated salary. So let's say new salary, money. What is the parameter type? Output. So if it is output, you have to mention output. For input, no need to mention. Why? So input is what? Default. Default parameters are input. For input parameters, no need to mention. For output parameter, you have to mention output as then what? As what? Update. What do you have to do? You see that sequence. Okay, na? 1 second. What said? First thing, what? First pass the value to what? Procedure. This is the first step. Pass the employee number and amount to the procedure. Second step, procedure has to update the salary. After updating the salary, next one, third step, get the new salary from table. Then send the new salary to the calling program. That is fourth step. Okay. Then what? Then update the salary. How? Update EMP set sal equal to sal plus what? Amount. Sal plus amount. Next one, where employee number equals to @ENO. So this particular employee's salary incremented by this much amount. So this particular employee's salary incremented by this much amount. Okay, na? Then next, after increment, then what? After increment, then what? So after incrementing, what is your action is? I want to send this updated salary to what? Calling program. So where is the updated salary? EMP table. So get the salary from EMP table and send it to the calling program. Then how to get the salary? Select what? Select what, sir? Select what? What do you want to send? Salary. Select salary. Okay, na? Then just see this. Select what? Salary from EMP, where employee number equals to what, sir? ENO. So what is this query is? Getting the employee's salary. But if you write query like this query will print salary. But I don't want to print. I want to send it to the calling program. If you want to send something to the calling program, assign the value to output parameter. If you want to send the value to the calling program, assign that value to output parameter. Whatever is assigned to output parameter, that is sent to the calling program. Then what? What's that? New salary. New salary. New salary equal to sal. So what this query is doing, getting the salary from table. But this query is getting the salary after update or before update? After update. That means this query will select new salary now, old salary now. New salary. The new salary is assigned to what? New sal. What is new sal is output parameter. Whatever is assigned to output parameter, that is sent to the calling program. In the calling program, you can receive the value. Understood? Then Okay, then so first create this, but it's already there. This procedure is already there. Then what happens? Alter. Now create the procedure. Procedure is what? Created. Procedure is created. Next, after creating the procedure, then what do you want to do? I want to execute. Okay, na? So procedure is created. Next, you want to execute. Then how to execute? How to execute the procedure? Huh? Execute. Execute. Procedure name. What is the procedure name? ESP underscore raise salary. USP underscore raise salary. Then what? At the rate ENO equal to 7844. What is the next? At the rate what? Amount equal to 1000. That's all. But it's created with 3 parameters. It's created with 3 parameters. Expects parameter at the rate new cell. You're passing value to at the rate ENO, passing value to at the rate amount. But it's created with one more parameter at the rate new cell. But you are not using that parameter. Then what this gives? This gives what? Error. Okay, then now. So then this gives error. Then what? Okay, na? Then use the parameter. What is the parameter? New cell. Then declare a variable at the rate what's it? New cell at the rate anything. Parameter name is S. S is what? Money type. Then what? Comma. Then at the rate what? New cell equal to at the rate S output. Left side is parameters declared in procedure. Left side is parameters declared in the procedure. Okay, na? Then right side is what? Values. 7844,000. So 7844 is passed to at the rate ENO. 1000 is passed to at the rate amount. Then salary is what? 1 second. Let's see. Suppose how it is executed. Then how this is executed is, this is the procedure. Okay, na? Then so this is the procedure. Next, and you are executing the procedure like this. Okay, then you are executing the procedure like this. Okay, na? You are executing the procedure like this. Now let's see. When you call the procedure, what happens? First thing, this 7844 is passed to what? At the rate ENO. This 1000 is passed to at the rate amount. This is the first step. First step. Next one. What the second step is? Procedure code is what, sir? Executed. Whatever the code you have written, this code is executed. That means 7844 salary is what? Incremented. After incrementing the salary, then this query is selecting the new salary. The new salary is assigned to at the rate new sal. At the rate new sal is passed to at the rate S. This is third step. At the rate new sal is assigned to at the rate S. Okay, then. So employee number is passed to at the rate ENO. 1000 is passed to at the rate amount. Selecting the salary is assigned to at the rate new sal. At the rate new sal value is assigned to at the rate S. Okay, then left side is parameter names, right side is values. Left side is parameter names. So parameter names. This is parameter declared in procedure. Parameter declared in procedure. Parameter declared in procedure. Right side give the values. Okay. Then, but here @new sal is copied to S. Print S value. Print S value. What it prints? What is assigned to S? Updated salary. What it prints? Updated salary. What is the updated salary? 5070. Earlier it is 4070. Now it is incremented by 1000. 5070. Okay. So this is what execution. Okay. Then so front end application is passing employee number and amount. Procedure is receiving the values, updating the salary, and it is sending the updated salary to the front end. Front end will print the updated salary. Okay. From ATM, you give account number, amount, how much amount you want to withdraw, what type of transaction you want to do. So transaction is completed. After that, the available balance is sent to ATM machine. ATM machine will print the available balance. Okay. Then that's all. This is what procedure with what? Procedure with out parameters. Procedure without parameters. Output parameters. Okay. Then. So if you want, you can see one more example then. But this is based on what table? Accounts table. Account type balance. $10,000. 101 savings 20,000. Next. This is the table. Okay. Next. Then so now create a procedure. Create a procedure to process money withdrawal. Okay. Create a procedure to process money withdrawal. So I'm creating this procedure for money withdrawal. Okay. So customer wants to call this, customer will call the procedure from ATM. This procedure is called from what? ATM application. It's stored in database and it's called from ATM application. Then create what? Create or alter procedure name. So USP, then what's it? Debit. Then tell me what should be passed to this procedure. What is required? What is required? Account number, amount, account number plus amount. So at the rate what? Account number, integer. Next one at the rate what? Amount. Then what? Money type. Next one, account number plus amount. Next So next, but what procedure has to send updated balance, new balance after withdraw balance is updated now. So they have to send the updated balance. What is that is new balance. Then this is also money type. Then what output as now. So procedure 1, 2. This procedure is for money withdrawal, debit. This takes account number, takes amount, and withdraw the amount. After withdrawing, it will send the updated balance to the calling program. But in this money withdrawal, so I need to verify balance is sufficient or not. Okay, na? Then what I have to do is I'm taking a what's that variable at the rate what balance money type. Then now taking a variable. Now I want to check the balance. To check the balance, first get the balance. How to get the balance? How to get the balance? Select statement. To get the balance, select statement. Select what? At the rate bal. Bal equal to bal from accounts table where account number equals to at the rate account number. So this particular customer balance is selected. The balance is copied to what? At the rate bal. Now you know the balance. Where is the balance? The balance is there in the variable at the rate bal. Now you check balance is sufficient or not. How to check the balance is sufficient or not? If condition. So if what suppose then amount. Amount means what is this amount is withdraw amount. Withdraw amount is greater than balance. Withdraw amount is greater than balance. Withdraw is allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. Is doing some illegal operation, then show some error to the user. Not message. Not message, show some error because he is doing illegal operation. How to show the error to the user? Raise error. Raise error. Then what is the message? Insufficient what? Balance 15,1. Next one. Else. Suppose amount is what? Amount. Amount is less than balance. Amount is greater than balance. We are showing some error to the user. If amount is less than balance, if amount is less than balance, withdraw is allowed or not? Yes. Then after withdrawing, this balance should be what? After withdraw, this balance should be updated. Update the balance. How to update the balance? Update. What is the table? Accounts. Set balance equals to balance minus what? Amount, where account number equals to at the rate account number. And update account set balance equal to balance minus amount, where account number equals at the rate account number. So balance is what? Updated. After updating the balance, I want to send the updated balance to the calling program. I want to send the updated balance to the calling program. Then how? I want to send the updated balance to the calling program. Then what? Select. Select what? At the rate what? New bal equals to bal from accounts table where account number equals to at the rate account number. Then what? End. So this query will select the balance. This query will select the balance. The balance is copied to this new balance. What is this new balance? Output parameter. Whatever is assigned to output parameter, that is sent to the calling program. In the calling program, you can receive the value. That's all. Okay. Okay. So create this. Okay. Now, so create this procedure in okay. Create this procedure now. So what the table is? First check table is there. Select star from accounts table. Table is there. Then create the procedure. Procedure is what? Created. Procedure is created. After creating the procedure, execute the procedure. But execute procedure name USP underscore debit. Account number is what? 100. Amount is what? 1000. So withdrawing 1000. But procedure is created with what? One more parameter, new balance. Okay. I want to receive the value. To receive the value, you need a declare a variable. So because to receive the value, you need a variable. Declare at the rate B. What the type is? Money type. Next what? At the rate what's it? B. At the rate B. At the rate B. Then specify what? Output. Okay, na? Specify output. Next print what? At the rate B. This is positional. If you want name would also you can call. What is at the rate what? Account number equals to 100. At the rate what? Amount equal to 1000. Next one. At the rate what? New balance equals to B. Okay, na? 100 is passed to account number. 1000 is passed to amount. Now let's see. So what is the balance of 100? What is the balance of 100? 14,000. So balance is 14,000. So is what is the amount you entered? 1000. 1000 is greater than 14,000. Condition false. When condition false, then go to what? Else. Then updated or not? Yes. 14,000 minus 1000. Updated with 13,000. So 13,000 is selected. It is copied to what? At the rate new val. What is at the rate new val is output parameter. Output parameter value is passed to B and printing the value of B. So how much it prints? 13,000. Understood? Then. So calling the procedure, this program is getting the updated balance. If you call this program from C#, C# also will get the updated balance. Okay, then. Suppose, for example, account number is 100. Now, what is the current balance now? 13,000. Now, is withdrawing 20,000. What the amount is? 20,000. So, what is the balance? 13,000. What is the amount? 20,000. 20,000 is greater than 13,000 as condition true. What happens? Exception is what? Raised. Now, let's see. Execute this. So, what is the error? Insufficient balance. Exception is raised or not? Yes. Okay, then. Okay, then. So this is the execution. Okay. That's how. Okay, now then. So procedures will be like this. That's how. The code is not a separate programming. You already know this programming, but what is the extra here? This is the extra. This you know already, but what is the extra here? This one. Why we are like, because you want to store this program in what database. Earlier you started with declare, but you're writing this one. Why? Because you want to store this program in database and you want to call these programs from front end. That's why what is required is parameters are required, name is required. Okay. What is the advantage of giving the name? Reusable. You can call this from wherever you want. Okay. But when you call this, I want to pass the account number and amount. Then that's why taking what? Parameters. Okay. Then. Next, you try like what? Create a procedure for money deposit. Create a procedure for money deposit. Next one, create a procedure for money transfer. So create a procedure for money deposit, create a procedure for money transfer. Okay, then. So this is how to create what? Procedures. We know without parameters, with input, with output. Okay, then. Next. Next, so, and you can declare what one is there here, declaring parameters with default value. Parameters can be declared with default value. Okay, then now a parameter can be declared with what? Default value as follows. As follows. A parameter can be declared with default value as follows. At the rate what? A parameter can be declared with default value as follows. At the rate parameter name, let's say x. What is the type? Integer equal to 100. So you can declare parameter like this. At the rate x integer equals to 100. So what this 100 is? Default value. Parameter. This is the parameter. So if you want to give a default value for the parameter, you have to declare like this. When default value is assigned, to the parameter, at the time of execution, if you don't pass any value to x, what is assigned to x? Default value. Okay, na? At the time of execution, while executing the procedure, if we don't pass any value, if we do not pass value to parameter, then SQL Server assigns what? Sir? Default value. While executing procedure, if you don't pass value to parameter, then SQL Server assigns default value. Okay. If you don't pass value to parameter, then SQL Server assigns what? Default value. Oh. Let's see example. Okay, now let's see example. You can take previous example. You can take previous example or any example. So suppose here, previous example, you take the previous example. Then, so here what I'm doing is, I want to declare a default value for amount. So I'm just giving like this 500. That means at the time of execution, if you don't pass value to amount, what the amount is 500. If you don't pass value to amount, then what is assigned to amount is 500 is assigned. Okay. Now let me create, everything is same, only just the declaration. I'm giving default value for this parameter. At the time of execution, if you don't pass value, then so what we are doing is altering the procedure, because procedure is already there, just making some changes, altering the procedure. Then what? So procedure is what's that? Altered. Procedure is altered. Next, then what the next one is? Execute. Execute the procedure. Execute the procedure. How to execute? First, need a variable, because out parameter is there now. Need a variable. B money type. Next one, execute procedure name. What is the procedure name? USP debit. Then account number. Account number is what? 100. What is the second parameter? Amount. Amount is created with, declared with default. So it's passing the value is not compulsory. Passing the value is not compulsory because it's declared with what? Default value. Then I don't want to pass value to amount. Then next at the rate B at the rate B. What the B is what? Money only. Money is already declared. So you have to mention this is output. What is B receives? Updated balance. Updated balance. Then print what? Print what's her? B. Print at the rate what's her? B. Print B. Next. But this gives error. What is this? Formal parameter amount was not declared as an what? Output. See, listen. If you call this procedure like this, SQL Server, first value is for first parameter. Second value is for second parameter. First to first, second to second. First to first, second to second. Yes or no? First value is for first parameter. Second value is for second parameter. But in procedure, second parameter is not declared as what? Output. But here you are mentioning output. That's why it is saying the formal parameter amount was not declared as what? Output. In procedure, you are not declared this as output. But when you are calling, you are declaring this as output. That's why it is giving error. That means it is thinking that this is for amount. Then what? Name mode. Otherwise, if you use positional, then compulsory, you call like this. Then you call like this. 100 comma default comma at the rate. What is passed to at the rate account number? 100 value. What is passed to at the rate amount? Default. What is the default value? 500. Next one B. Next print. Now let's see. Now 12,500. Earlier 13,000. 500 is debited. 12,500. Yes or no? Then this is what? This is what's such? Positional notation. So just one second. You execute like this. Then if it is name notation, see, no problem. You can directly call like this. What is account number equals to 100 at the rate what's it? New balance equal to B output. No need to mention amount. If it is name notation, you call like this. Positional notation compulsory, you have to mention what? Default. So which is simple? This one is easy. Okay, na? Then that's it. Okay. Oh, you know, that's all. So this is what procedures, stored procedures with parameters, input, output parameters. Okay, then. Oh, Next. So what the next one is, like what user defined functions. User defined functions. User defined functions. Okay, user defined functions. What? So in SQL, we have seen some functions. Okay, na? What? Like upper, lower, is null. Okay, na? Next round, like seal, floor. Okay, then max, min, sum, average, rank, dense rank. I covered some number of functions in SQL. We have seen number of functions in SQL. Okay, then, but all these functions are what? All these functions are provided by SQL Server. Apart from this predefined functions, we can also create our own function. Okay, now the functions created by user are called what? User defined functions. When predefined functions not meeting your requirements, then you create your own function. When predefined functions not meeting your requirement, then you create your own function. So they're called what? User defined functions. For example, I want to calculate what's our tax. I want to calculate employee tax. But any predefined function is there to calculate the tax? No. Okay, na? Then, but I want to calculate this tax in number of programs. Okay, na? I want to calculate the tax in number of programs. So this tax calculation contains 20 lines code. 20 lines code. I want this tax calculation in number of programs. In number of programs, you have to repeat this 20 lines code. Instead of repeating this code in 20 in number of programs, then create a what? Function. Wherever you want, you can call it. Wherever there is a tax calculation, simply call this function. So mainly these projects and functions are mainly created for reusability. Okay, na? Then. So next, functions what? Functions created by user are called user defined functions. In SQL, we have seen predefined. Now we are going to see user defined. When what? Predefined functions not meeting our requirements, then we create our own functions called user defined functions. Okay, when predefined functions not meeting our requirements, then we create our own functions called user defined functions. Okay, then functions are what? Two types. User defined functions are two types. One is scalar valued. Next one, table valued. So this user defined functions are two types: scalar valued, table valued. Scalar valued means SVF. Table valued is called TVF, table valued functions. So first we'll see scalar valued. Next we'll see table value. Then scalar valued functions. Okay, scalar valued functions. So what is the definition? What is the definition of function? What is the definition of procedure is? A procedure takes what? A procedure takes some input, performs some operation on database. Next one, may or may not return, say, value. Take some input, perform some action on database, may or may not return say value. But what about function? Function also takes some input, perform some calculation, must return a value. Procedures what? May or may not return a value, but function must return a value. So returning value is compulsory from function. Okay. A function accepts some input, performs some calculation, and must return a value. Okay, then must return a value. Next, then so these functions, okay, now returns a value now. Then so and return type of this function, return type of this function, return type of these functions is scalar type, like integer, varchar, etc. Return type of these functions is scalar types like integer, varchar. Okay, and return expression must be a scalar variable. Must be a scalar variable. Return type of this function is scalar types, and the return expression must be a scalar variable. Okay. Then what? Then now let's see. What the syntax is: create or alter function name. Next, parameters. Next, function is created with what? Returns type. Next, as begin statements, return expression. So return expression end. This is the syntax. Okay, now then, so if you compare with procedure, what are the extra here? If you compare with procedure, what are the extra here? Extra is what? Returns what's her type? Extra is what? Returns type. This is not there in procedure. Next one, what? Return expression. This is not there in procedure. These two are extra. Okay. Why? Because how procedure can return values? Procedure can return values. Yes or no? Procedures can return values. Yes. How procedure returns values? By using output parameters. Procedure returns values by using output. Is function returns values? Is function returns values? Yes. How function returns values? By using return statement. Procedure returns values using output. Function returns values using return statement. So this function is returning integer. Return type must be integer. If function is returning a string, return type must be varchar. Function is returning a date, return type must be date. So the return type depends on what? Return expression. If this is number, numeric, the type must be integer. If this is a string, type must be varchar. If this is date, type must be date. So the return type depends on return expression. So function returns values using return statement. Procedure returns values using output parameter. Okay, then. So now. Can I? Then. Okay, then. Okay. No? Just. Okay.